Welcome to the video tutorial for Unit 7, Day 1. Okay, this is going to be going over pages 1 and 2 in the homework. Now, the whole point of today is to teach you a process called dimensional analysis. It is kind of a graphic organizer for doing math. It is 100% required in chemistry, showing your work the proper way. You have to learn how to do dimensional analysis in order to do our next unit, Unit 8, which is stoichiometry. You will also be doing dimensional analysis in physics, so this is a process we need to know. So more important than being able to go from miles to feet is understanding this process. Just in case you were absent, okay, you must show work, no credit. So what I want to show you is this. For chemistry, we require that you box in your given value and you circle your unknown value. So in this case, Mrs. Safford ran a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. That is my given value. I need the number and the unit. And they ask me how many feet is that. So what am I looking for is feet. Okay. And I've got just a couple quick notes to show you here. Dimensional analysis kind of shows it like this. Units are everything. I know I really hate showing my work and writing units, but units does the work for you. You have to put 26.2 miles and 15 feet. Units are going to do everything for us. This kind of train track model, we'll talk about what that is, but our given value and our unknown value are always going to be in the top corners. Sometimes we'll have 1, 2, 3 steps, sometimes just 1 step, sometimes 4 steps. But the most important thing to know is that whatever is on top and bottom of each other have to be equal. And we call that a conversion factor. So $1 equals 4 quarters. That means I could put 4 quarters on top and $1 on bottom. Or 2 hours equals 120 minutes. I could put 2 hours on bottom and 120 minutes on top, or vice versa. But they have to be equal to each other. So please make sure you are showing the work just the way your teachers showed you. So we're going to start with number 3. Miss Martinez has a great potato soup recipe, which I don't like, but whatever, that calls for 1.05 liters, there's my given, of cream to be added. So I want to make sure I'm including the liters. How many quarts is that? All right, in class, you were given the 3rd grade star chart, okay, just like this. If you have not gotten one of these, you need to push pause and go to Canvas. You can print one out from your teacher's Canvas website. But on here, we have a couple equalities. So I'm trying to go from liters to quarts. And you'll notice nowhere on here does it say blank quarts equals how many liters. Okay. Quarts is found in 2 spots, here and here. And it's also found, well, no, that's it for quarts. That's the only 2 places it says quarts on this sheet. And liters is in 2 places, here and here. But at no point are they there equal to each other. So the first thing we are going to do is box our given, circle our unknown, and then I'm going to copy my given with units right there. Okay, so I want to put 1.05 liters. All right, and I don't know how many liters equal how many quarts, so I need to do something else with it. Okay. I know that if I go, let's see, from quarts to gallons, then I could make gallons to liters. So that's kind of how I can connect those dots. How can I get quarts to liters? Quarts to gallons, and then I can go gallons to liters. So what we're going to do is called disco. So remember in discoing, if you're thinking the Minions, it's or think John Travolta. Okay, we disco down our units, which means whatever unit is on top here gets discoed down. So right there. Okay, so I'm going to put liters on bottom now. Whatever was on top goes on bottom. Nothing ever goes in this first bottom box. For chemistry. In physics, it will. So I'm going to say liters on bottom, and I'm trying to turn it into gallons. And the gallon unit is GAL. I'm trying to go from liters to gallons. And I know, whoa, liters to gallons? Yeah, I'm trying to go from liters to gallons. So I know 3.79 liters equals 1 gallon. So I can say 3.79 liters equals 1 gallon. And I know that the 3.79 is on bottom because I discoed down my units. Now, this isn't my final answer. My final answer is not gallons, which means I'm not done. So I'm going to disco down my units again. I'm going to pull it down and say gallons. And I do know how many gallons are equal to how many quarts. So I'm able to put gallons and quarts on top of each other. And quart is my final answer, QT. So this is going to be my unknown. And that's how I knew it was only 1, 2 steps like that. Okay? Now as far as plugging in numbers, the top has to be equal to the bottom. So again, we go to our 3rd grade star chart, and it says 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. I'm going to say 4 quarts equals 1 gallon, like that. So then I've set this problem up. Now I'm going to rewrite this. You do not have to, but this is the same thing as saying 1.05 liters over 1 times 1 over 3.79 times 4 over 1. Okay, that's what these little train tracks represent. So it's that same problem. So really, once we have this work shown, which you get half credit for showing work and half credit for getting the answer. Okay. Oops, let me grab my calculator. Once we have that, I want to multiply across the top. So I'm going to do 1.05 times 1 times 4 equals to get a top number. Let's do our math. 1.05 times 1 times 4. So my top answer is 4.2. Then on bottom I have nothing times 3.79 times 1 equals, obviously, 3.79. Now that I've combined my top and my bottom values, I do top divided by bottom. That's what it means when we write it like this. Okay, so 4.2 divided by 3.79 equals 1.108. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the name of the game for dimensional analysis is units. Units are everything. So if we want to look at what unit my answer should be, and this is another way to check our work. Remember, if I say you have $10 and I'm going to triple that. Now you have $30, but then I'm going to divide it by 3. Then you're back down to 10. Multiplying and dividing by the same number cancels it out. So multiplying and dividing by liters, having it on top and on bottom, cancels it out. Having gallons on top and on bottom cancels it out. So the only unit left is the unit I'm trying to find, quarts. So you have to put units in your final answer and then put a big box around it for your teacher to say, here's my work, here's my final answer. Okay. Now this one's my jam because this is me. And my students know I have all kinds of Smarties for after test. Mrs. Holm has 25.2 pounds of Smarties. Oh, that's a given number. I box it in. And this is going to be all semester. You have to box in your givens and circle your unknowns. And I have them ready for after the test. How many grams is that? So I'm looking for grams. It's what I have and what I don't know. So always my given goes here. 25.2 pounds. So ideally, I need to know blank pounds equals blank grams. So let's look at our star chart. Okay, right here for weight and mass. I've got pounds here, and I've got pounds here, and I've got pounds here. And I only have grams right here and right here. So I don't have anywhere on here that says blank pounds equals blank grams. So I'm going to have to use something in between. Okay? So what do I have pounds equal to that is also equal to grams, and it looks like kilograms? Because I could make it to kilograms, and then I can make kilograms to grams. So it's got to connect our dots here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to disco down my units. Dun, 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 dun. All right, that's lame. Sorry. Pounds. I'm trying to turn it into kilograms, kg. So I write down my units. Let your units do the work. And then I'm going to disco down kilograms, and I can turn it into grams. Okay. So now that I've filled in all of my units, and I know that this will cancel out and this will cancel out, so my final answer will be in grams, then I'm done. Now I can go back and plug in the numbers. Okay. Blank kilograms equals blank pounds, because they have to be equal. So we said 1 pound is 0.45. So I'm going to plug in those numbers. 1 pound on the bottom equals 0.45 kilograms. All right, and then I know 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. Now the ones aren't always on bottom. Like up here we had the one on top. It just depends on which conversion factor you're using. So I'm going to go 25.2 times this, and get my top number. 1 times 1 is going to stay 1 as my bottom number. All right, let's take a look. 25.2 pounds of Smarties. That's a lot of Smarties, guys. 1.45 times 1,000 equals 11340. Okay, and that divided by 1 is still just 11,340. Now what unit am I in? Canceled, canceled, grams. So there is my final answer. Okay. All right, let's just refresh real quick. Units are everything. Show your units. They do all of the work for us. Okay, we're going to start using chemistry numbers and Avogadro's number and moles and all kinds of stuff. So we want to learn how to do this with more familiar things first. Looking at page 2 then, we're going to do the Mrs. Holm one again because that's my jam. Mrs. Holm carried 2 pounds. I'm going to stop and box in my given. Okay, carried 2 pounds of trail mix down the hall from the storeroom. How many kilograms was that? Okay, here I didn't give you the train tracks, so you don't know how many steps it's going to be. So I'm going to make sure I'm writing in pencil. I'm going to start there. I'm going to know I need at least 1 step to start with. I'm going to write in my given in the top left-hand corner and say 2 pounds, which is LBS. That's the abbreviation for it. And I'm going to go to the math section. Okay, pounds to ounces, pounds to kilograms. So I know how many pounds equal how many kilograms, which means I only need to do 1 step. I can do it directly. Okay? I'll try and do it like that. I can just go down my units and say pounds equals, whoops, I shouldn't have done that in green, whatever. Pounds equals kg. Because I know that, it says right here, 1 pound equals 0.45. So now if I check my work, pounds is on top and bottom, it cancels out, which would make my final unit kilograms, which is what I want my final to be. So once my given is in the top left and my unknown is in the top right, we're done. That's only 1 step. Awesome. So go ahead and calculate this one out. I want to show you one more. Gallons to cups, is that a good one? That is a good one. Okay. If I bring 1 gallon, there's my given. Okay, I'm going to even rewrite it. 1 GAL of Gatorade to class. How many 1 cup servings could I hand out to my students? So basically it's saying if I have 1 gallon, how many cups is that? So I know I need to at least start with 1 step. And my given goes in my top left, 1 gal. And as soon as I can get cups up here, I'm done. So let's look at our volume section. Gallon is here and here. So I know gallons equal to quarts, but I'm not looking for quarts. I know gallons equal to liters. Shoot. Cups is only here. So how can I connect those dots? Okay, fluid ounces doesn't help me, but I could go gallons to quarts, quarts to pints, and pints to cups. So I have to do 3 conversions. Let's just start with the first one though. Okay. So I can just go down gallons and turn that into quarts. But the top right is not cups, and that's what I need it to be, so I'm not done. So I'm going to just go down quarts, right? And remember on this list, if you're looking at it, I know how many pints are in a quart, so I can turn quarts into pints, PT, but that's still not cups in the top right, so I need to keep going and just go down pints, PT. I do know how many cups are in a pint, though. So then finally, I have cups. So I know I'm done because gallons is on top and bottom, it's gone, quarts are gone, pints are gone, and finally the top right hand is what I'm looking for, my unknown. So that's how I know it's 1, 2, 3-step problem. Whew, okay. Again, I'm just going to be using these numbers right here. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. I don't want to put 1 on top because gallons is on bottom and the 1 goes with gallon. Okay. 1 quart equals 2 pints. And it says 1 pint equals 2 cups. Again, it's not always 1s on the bottom, but in this case it is. So I am going to say all of my top numbers, 1 times 4 times 2 times 2. Okay, we multiply all the way across the top. 1 times 4 times 2 times 2 equals 16. And on bottom, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 16 divided by 1 is my final answer. And the only unit that didn't cancel out is the unit I was looking for. So then I say, hey, teacher, there's my final answer. There's 16 cups in a gallon. Okay. The last thing was review. We talked about this in our notes today. How many particles are in Avogadro's number? And this is on the back of your yellow periodic table if you don't have it memorized. We're going to be doing a lot of math with this number next class, okay? And it says Avogadro's number equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power. The mass of 1 mole is known as the molar mass. L-A-R, mass. Okay, those are equivalent statements. And what unit do we use for molar mass? The unit we use for molar, is mole. And the unit we use for mass is grams. So in order to have a unit for this, we need to derive it. Just like miles per hour would be miles per hour. We're going to have grams per mole. That's what we call a derived unit. Okay? And you should know how to calculate this. This is review. Please come in for help on this. You're going to be doing this for the next 2 months, this kind of process. So let us help you. Good luck, guys.